Okay, good afternoon. This is Wayne Lewis, and what I thought I would do was answer some questions to you as first-time home buyers. And rather than reinvent the wheel, I thought I would go to the HUD site, which has specific questions for first-time home buyers. And if you go to the HUD site, which is HUD.gov, they have a specific section which deals with common questions from first-time home buyers. What I thought I would do is look through some of those questions and maybe add a little bit of my own personal experience that I thought you might benefit from. But don't hesitate to go through there because there's approximately about 16 questions. And I'm not going to go through all of them. I just want to touch on a few of them. Right now, I'm in the house, one of my listings, which is located at 1669 North Dupree, which is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, raised basement Victorian in Mid-City. And it's a great house. It can actually probably serve 2 families because one thing, I'm in one of the kitchens. This is the second floor of the property in which there are 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, a dining room, and a kitchen, and of course a deck. And I'll show you the deck in a few minutes. Right now we're in the kitchen, and of course you can go to a website, Realtor.com or Prudential and see these pictures online. And of course, if you're not working with an agent, or if you are working with an agent, have your agent contact me to set up for a personal showing. The question I thought I would focus on right quick is question number 9 from HUD, which says, in addition to the mortgage payment, what other costs do I need to consider? Now, what I did was I just broke down those costs in general, overall. And here's what we're looking at. One of the costs you may look at is an appraisal. And these are not in particular order, but here's one of them. You will need to pay for an appraisal. Once you've gone through the acceptance and done the home inspection, which is another cost, but once you've done those things, your lender, if you're going through a lender, will order an appraisal. Now, appraisal may also be done by you if you're going cash. But if you're going through the lender's going to order an appraisal, and usually the lender collects for the appraisal up front. Now that cost, and I'm only speaking from New Orleans, Louisiana, so your cost may vary from some other location, but the cost approximately can run anywhere from maybe $375 to maybe $450 for a single family property. Now, if you're talking about a multi-family property in which you are going to be living in one part and the other units are included, you need to qualify with the appraiser what that cost may be. But generally, the lender will collect for the appraisal in advance. Another cost that you will more than likely incur will be home inspection. A home inspection can run you somewhere from $275,000 to maybe $325,000. Again, single family home in which you're occupying it, and of course the square footage is also important. So you might want to be aware of that. Your home inspector will always ask you, what is the square footage of the home? And of course, if you can, a lot of home inspectors now will do a termite inspection along with the home inspection, which is one cost and which will save you time of setting up, meeting with an inspector one day, and then trying to meet with a termite inspector on another day. So those are just 2 costs, appraisal and inspection. And of course, if you're meeting with a lender, lender's usually going to collect a credit check, due for a credit check. And that can run you anywhere from maybe $15 to maybe $35, depending on the lender, for just one person. And it may be like a little discount if it's 2 of you on the loan. Sometimes, and it's rare, you might have to do a re-inspection of a house. It's rare, but it's possible that if something wasn't in place when you did your initial inspection, or something had to be corrected or repaired, you might want to get a re-inspection. And it can run anywhere from $50 to maybe $175, depending on what the inspector is going to come in for. Of course, your down payment. Your down payment is generally what is collected for at closing, but it is the money that you need to have in place when you get to close. And generally, depending on what the cost of the house is, let's say $100,000, 10%, you know that at closing minimum, you're going to need $10,000. The other thing, of course, you may have your closing costs. Your closing costs can run maybe anywhere from 4 to 8% of your closing. But that's something to confirm with your lender as well as the title company to be sure. So all of these figures are just estimates and approximations. And of course, there's the deposit. The deposit, which can be what's the word I want to use? The deposit is general, not to be confused with the down payment. The deposit is usually what's given when you have an accepted offer. For example, if you said, I'm offering $100,000 for your house, and in good faith, I'm going to give you 10%, $10,000 or $1,000, whatever the agreement is, that's money that you do need to come up with. So all of these are just some cost factors for you to be concerned about or be aware of and be prepared when you get ready to buy your first time home. Good luck to you. I'll be back to answer a couple more questions for you. All right. My next question I'll discuss with you, one of the uh, frequently asked questions on the HUD government site. This is our second question, which has to do with number 12. It says, I know there are lots of types of mortgages. How do I know which one is best for me? Well, to answer the question in reverse, how do you know which one is best for you? Well, that will come as a result of your discussion with your lender. You've done your credit check and your lender is looking at what the circumstances are regarding your finances. So obviously they'll be able to dictate, and I shouldn't use that word, they'll be able to uh, prepare you and describe what's best for you in terms of the best kind of loan. But let me just go over some of the types of loans that you may be exposed to. One of them is 100% financing. Now, here in New Orleans and in the surrounding areas, there's certain areas that will qualify for 100% rural development loans, which is not necessarily to be confused with some of the prime loans that used to occur just before 2008. But in some cases, you may qualify for 100% rural development loans. And again, your lender will tell you what areas that qualify you for. Around New Orleans, I know one area is St. Bernard Parish, some parts of Jefferson Parish. As far as I know, the 100% rural development loan does not apply to New Orleans, but confirm with your lender to be sure. Now, the other type of loan is the FHA loan, which is a federally insured loan, Federal Housing Administration. That's where you normally come up with 3.5% down payment towards the purchase of a home. For example, $100,000 house, you come up with $3,500 down payment. On a VA loan, you don't have to come up with anything down payment wise. And most often the seller is required to pay closing costs, but you need to confirm how much and what the lender will stipulate. Another type of loan is a conventional loan, where if you don't qualify for FHA or VA, a conventional loan, you can probably get a property for maybe 5% minimum, which is rare now, but for sure, starting at 10% up to maybe 25, maybe 30% of a loan. Your lender will make that determination based on your credit check. And of course, there are what we have here are bond loans, which are special investor loans that allow people to get a loan with certain special interest rate, might be a lower interest rate that you can qualify for, usually by state or city. These could be bond loans. And of course, there are adjustable rate mortgages where, according to what your lender dictates, and I keep using the word dictate, I want to say according to what your lender parameters are, you can qualify for adjustable rate mortgage, which may mean that, for example, today you may start at 3% interest rate, but as time dictates, you may find that you're going up to a 5%, but you'll know this in advance, and you can, depending on circumstances, requalify for a fixed rate versus an adjustable rate mortgage. So I just thought I'd go over those types of loan: 100% rural development, FHA, VA, conventional, bond, adjustable rate mortgages. Now, those are just a select few that I've gone over. Feel free to go to the HUD website or consult with your lender for additional information to see what would be in your best interest. I'll be back to answer one other question here at my listing on North Dupree, the 3 bedroom, 2 bath property that I have, which right now I'm sitting in the sunroom, which is a very nice little area where you can watch TV or play on the floor with the kids, which also hooks up, by the way, to the deck on the second floor, which is really great. I think I'll go out there next just to answer my next question. See you in a few minutes. Okay, this will be the third question that I'll answer. And remember, I got these questions from HUD.gov, buying / comp, what have you. But you can just put in there in the search engine, first time home buyer questions, and it should take you to the HUD.gov website. The question I decided to answer, the third question is, what if my offer is rejected? Now, there could be any number of reasons why your offer could be rejected. One of the reasons that your offer could be too low. And if you're fortunate, you will get a rejected response. Sometimes, if your offer is too low, people don't even bother to respond. So when you're making an offer, make sure you're making a reasonable offer based on your realtor CMA, which should tell you houses of similar nature in that area sold for ABC, so that when you make that offer, the seller can understand and believe that you're in at least striking distance of what the property is priced at and what you're offering. Another reason might be because of multiple offers, and of those offers, your offer may have come one too late, or this particular offer, your particular offer, compared to the offer that was accepted, had the best terms and conditions, even if the price may have not been right. The terms and conditions may have been just right. And a lot of times you will not know the price of an accepted offer until the property has closed. So a lot of times people will say, well, they have an offer, how much was offered on the property? The agent is not obligated, nor should they necessarily tell you how much the offer was for on that property. Another reason why your offer could be rejected is because the property may have been taken off the market. Sometimes properties on the market for so long that sellers get frustrated and just take their properties off the market. Another reasons why sellers may take their properties off the market is because they've just gotten too many low offers and they're not willing to sell their property for less than a certain amount. So it doesn't make sense to them to keep their properties on the market. And earlier I talked about terms and conditions. Some of the terms and conditions could be for a seller. Uh, Maybe your deposit is too low, or maybe you want to move in 30 days, but the seller has to buy a house themselves. And if you are steadfast on moving in 30 days, but they still have to sell their find another house, not sell a house, but buy another house, so they know they can't do it in 30 days, that might be a reason right there. As flexible a situation as that could be, to some sellers, it may not appear to be a flexible issue. Another thing why sellers may reject your offer is because of closing costs. Some people have astronomical perception of how much a seller should pay in terms of closing costs. And in that case, it's more than likely the seller is going to say, well, if you expect that amount of money out of the deal for me to help you buy my house and I can't afford it, it's going to leave me with very little to move forward with. I'm not going to go forward with your offer, so I'm going to reject it. So these are just several reasons why an offer could be rejected. There are probably several other ones, but these are just some that I'm aware of, and that could be very common reasons why an offer might be rejected. So I've answered 3 questions today, and again, I got them from HUD.gov. You're welcome to go to that website as well and go through the 16 questions that you as a first-time home buyer may need to be aware of to help you make your decision as you go through the home buying process. Also check with your realtor if you're working with one to ask them some additional questions in terms of what you can do to become an effective first-time home buyer. I'm going to close out today at my listing at 1661 North Prier, a great 3 bedroom, 2 bath property which we have on the market. Asking price $279,000, and of course my sellers are very interested in a good offer and willing to work with you. Look forward to seeing you very shortly. Thank you again, and good luck.